Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Today we will study the third part of the hip bone, that is ischium. So, the postero-inferior part of the hip bone is called ischium. The ischium has a body and it has two rami, the upper and the anterior rami. Look at this. This one is the body of the ischium. Ischium is the inferior part of the hip bone, and the ischium has its body. This one is a massive and thick part, is called as a body, and this one is the anterior rami. This one is the anterior rami that will combine with the posterior rami of the pubis, and this one is the superior rami. And this one, the superior rami, forms the lower 2/5 of the acetabulum here. The lower 2/5 of the acetabulum forms the superior rami of the ischium. So it has a body, superior rami, and the anterior rami. Anterior rami conjoined with the posterior rami of the pubis, and the superior rami from the body to the lower 2/5 of the acetabulum. So this is the part of the ischium. So the body has three surfaces and the three borders. This one is the anterior border of the body. Anterior border here. The anterior border forms the posterior margin of the obturator foramen. Look at this. The body anterior border. The anterior border forms the posterior margin of the obturator foramen. This one is the posterior border. Look at this. This one is the posterior border. This one. The posterior border here, the posterior border starts and extended upward till the posterior border of the ilium. This one, the posterior border of the body, posterior border of the ischium, extend upward and forms the lower margin of the greater sciatic notch and continues with the posterior border of the ilium. So, at its meeting point, there is a projected area. This area is called as the ischial spine. This projection is called as the ischial spine. And after that, below the greater sciatic notch, this is the ischial spine. After the ischial spine, there is another notch. This is called lesser sciatic notch. This is called lesser sciatic notch. And after that, continues with the posterior border of the ischium. Here, there is the lateral border. This one is the lateral border. Lateral border forms the lateral margin of the ischial tuberosity. The posterior thickened part of the ischium, that is called as the ischial tuberosity. So this border, that one is the lateral border, forms the lateral margin of the ischial tuberosity. Okay. It has anterior border, posterior border, and the lateral border. So after borders, it also has the three surfaces. This one is the pelvic surface. Pelvic surface is smooth between the anterior borders and the posterior border. Between the anterior and the posterior border, this one is the pelvic surface, and it forms a part of the true pelvis. Okay, this one is the posterior surface. The posterior surface is the thick surface. This is the posterior surface, or you can say the dorsal surface. This is the rough and thick for the muscular attachment. Okay, and this dorsal surface extend upward with the gluteal surface of the ilium. Okay, this dorsal surface extended upward with the gluteal surface of the ilium. This ischial tuberosity, the posterior margin of the ischial tuberosity, it divides by a transverse ridge over here. Divides by a transverse ridge into upper and lower area. This one is the transverse ridge into upper and lower area. This upper area, you can see over here, is also divided by an oblique ridge. Okay, and this oblique ridge divides this upper area into supromedial and infralateral part. Okay, and the lower area, this one lower area, is divided by a ridge into inner and outer surface. Okay, clear. This was the dorsal surface, and this one is the pelvic surface. The pelvic surface is also smooth surface, and continues with the outer surface of the rami. Okay, good. Next, we'll go to the specific features, that is the attachments over here. Just look at this. I'll give you the attachment. Yeah. Now its viewpoint is very much clear. Front of you. Now, starting from the ischial spine, here, the ischial spine provides the attachment of the sacrospinous ligament along its margin. The sacrospinous ligament along its margins and origin to the coccygeus from its, this one is the pelvic surface and this one is the pelvic surface. Okay, this is a femoral surface. And from its pelvic surface, origin to the posterior fibers of the levator ani. Okay, which muscles are attached over here? The supraspinous ligament along its margin, coccygeus from its pelvic surface, and origin of the posterior fibers of the levator ani from its pelvic surface. Okay, next one is the lesser sciatic notch. The lesser sciatic notch is occupied by the tendon of the obturator internus. Here, the tendons of the lesser sciatic notch occupied by the tendon of the obturator internus. Okay. Next, the femoral surface of the ischium. This one is the pelvic surface. This one is the femoral surface. Here, come to the femoral surface. Femoral surface of the ischium gives origin to the obturator externus. Due to the obturator externus. Okay. This one is the pelvic surface of the ischium. It gives attachment to the obturator externus. Okay, and the following three muscles are also attached over here. Related to the piriformis, the greater sciatic nerve also passed through this, and the quadratus femoris over here, and the obturator internus. The attachment of the iliac ischial tuberosity over here. Come to the ischial tuberosity. This one is the ischial tuberosity, and this ischial tuberosity, as we know, that divided into upper and lower area by a transverse ridge. Okay, the supralateral part, and this also divided by the oblique ridge. The supralateral part, here the supralateral part gives origin to the semimembranosus. Note out these muscles which we are studying first time. It will be very difficult for you to understand, but after that, when you repeat it again and again, it will be very easy for you to remember it. Okay, so concentrate on this and try to pronounce these muscles. Semimembranosus on its supralateral part, the semimembranosus muscles, and the infromedial part area, these muscles is a semitendinosus. Okay, supralateral semimembranosus and infromedial semitendinosus muscles. Okay, another muscles that is related and also attached over here, the adductor magnus on its inferior part, adductor magnus on its lateral part, and the gracilis, most of the muscles name is gracilis, its lateral part. The attachment of the conjoined ischial rami. This one the ischial and the pubic. Ischial conjoined rami, that is ischial and the pubic rami. These are the attachments to combine this rami. The upper borders give attachment to the obturator membrane over here, all around. And the lower border give attachment to the fascia lata. And membranous layers of the superficial fascia. Okay. The muscles also take origins from the outer surface over here. This is the outer surface. This is the obturator externus throughout on the margins of this. The adductor brevis, and most of the adductor brevis arises from the pubic rami. This is the pubic rami. This is the adductor brevis. Okay, and the gracilis, which is also from the pubic rami. Most of the muscles from the pubic rami. And the adductor magnus, these muscles are mostly from the ischial rami. Okay, adductor magnus. Okay, this one is the attachment of the outer surface of the rami. Okay, next is the attachment on the inner surface of the rami. This is the inner surface, and this inner surface is divided by two ridges into three areas. This one is the middle ridge, and this one is the lower ridge. It divided this into 3 areas. Okay, the perineal membrane is attached to the lower ridge. This ridge, the perineal membrane is attached over it, and the upper ridge give attachment to the upper layer of the urogenital diaphragm. Upper ridge of the urogenital diaphragm. Okay, so this is all about the attachment of the ischium. Its attachment over the ischial tuberosity, attachment of the ischial spines and their surfaces. Okay, next, another thing which is very important over here, the acetabulum over here. This is acetabulum. What is acetabulum? You know, it is a deep cup-shaped hemispherical cavity, and it is present on the lateral aspect of the bone. It is present on the lateral aspect of the bone, about its center. This is called as acetabulum, and it is directed laterally, downward and forward. Okay, the margin of the acetabulum, these are the margin of the acetabulum. These are deficient anteriorly. You know, look at this. These are the margin of the acetabulums. It's clear all around, but it is deficient anteriorly. So this deficiency is called as acetabular notch. It is bridged by the transverse ligament over here. By the transverse ligament over here. So this acetabulum has 2 parts. In between, this is non-articular area, and outside area, that is horseshoe shaped area, which is lunate area, horseshoe shaped area. This area is the articular area. Okay, it presents on its anterior, superior and posterior, but deficiently in inferior area. So the acetabulum is formed by all 3 bones: ilium upper 2/5, pubis anterior 1/5, and the ischial by the posterior 2/5. Okay, these all 3 bones unite to form the acetabulum. Okay, the next thing, which is very important, is obturator foramen. This is the obturator foramen present between the pubis, in between the pubis and the ischium. Okay, this is large triangular in females, but oval shaped and large and oval shaped in males. So it is bounded anteriorly by the anterior rami, inferiorly by the inferior conjoint rami, and posteriorly by the body of the ischium. So this is all about our hip bone. This is a complete study. This is general features, specific features, and inshallah in next lecture we will study the next bone, that is femur. Okay, enough this.